Hi, guys, and welcome back to the Plot Genie. I am really, really excited. I feel like I say this every single time we sit down and have a chat, but I love talking about this stuff. So, today we are going to talk about routines. Let's be honest, most writing routines sound great in theory, and then they fall apart by day three. It's not your fault. You don't need more discipline. You need a routine that's flexible, personalized, and actually fits your lifestyle. Today, I'm going to walk you through exactly how to build that 30-day writing routine that works for you, even if you're busy, you're distracted, you're overwhelmed, or you're just getting started. This is about working smarter, not harder. Okay, let's jump right into it. Before we talk routines, we need to redefine what success actually means to us. So, some of the things you need to ask yourself is, do you want to write daily or do you want to hit your weekly goal? Are you aiming for word count, time spent, or consistency? Is this a sprint month or low pressure building habit month? You need to match your routine with your season of life, and you have to embrace whatever season of life you're in. This is what I'm telling my stepson right now, who had meniscus surgery. He is in pain, right? And it's something that, I mean, how many of you women have had birth without any epidural or pain medication? We have to accept going into it that we are going to feel pain. That right there is a hurdle that I don't think a lot of people really appreciate. Once you accept that something is going to happen, it is easier to decide, okay, what can I do about that, right? So embrace whatever season of life you're in right now, because once you do, you're able to sort of change your perception on what you can actually do about that season of life. So, a really quick tip is choose one primary goal for the next 30 days. Do you want to write like 15,000 words? Do you want to write 5 days a week? Do you want to finish act one of your novel? You understand how those are three different things. And although maybe writing 15,000 words in the month is also going to help you finish that act one, your focus needs to be on one or the other, because the activities or what you're going to do in order to hit that goal is going to be very different, if that makes sense. So for me, the way that I define success is I do my word count, and I have a daily word count and a weekly word count. So it's sort of like I want to hit this word count for this book. And usually it's by chapter. I like to write, depending on the book, 1 to 3 chapters a day. And I write 6 days a week. I give myself Sundays. So that's kind of how I set up my writing habit. But this is, again, years of understanding who I am, understanding what season of life I'm in, what I'm able to do, what I'm mentally and physically capable of doing. A lot of things go into defining what success means to you. And you don't just want to write something down because it sounds good. You also have to take into consideration what is actually going to work for you right now. Um, yeah. So, okay, now that we have that out of the way, let's talk structure. Here is a simple 4-part writing routine that works even if your motivation is a little low. So, the first thing you have to do is give yourself a little bit of prep time. And this could range between 5 to 10 minutes, depending on how often you do it or who you are, and if this works or not. So, open your doc, whether you're in Word, whether you're in Google Docs, whether you're in Novel Crafter or Scrivener, wherever. Skim yesterday's scene, read your outline or your beat sheet, light your candle, cue your brain, maybe take a sip of whatever you're drinking. For me, it's water. I know for a lot of people, it's coffee. So the second step is just warm up. And this could be 5 minutes max. Just journal a few lines. Write a sentence in your character's voice or dump your brain into a doc. Sometimes what I'll do when I'm really like, when it's really, really hard for me to like find the words and I'm not motivated and I don't want to do this, is I will put on a YouTube video that captures the moment. So like, I don't know if you've ever seen these like fan videos of like, your favorite relationships from TV couples or movie couples, or, like a fan sort of homage to your favorite character. Like, if you've watched any of my videos, you know that I cast my character. So let's say I'm writing a pirate and I'm like, you know what? I really need a fan video of Jack Sparrow because I cannot find these words. And I'll put one on and that will motivate me because not only am I visually seeing Johnny Depp looking gorgeous and, running away from, bad guys, I'm also hearing the music, and that's really helping me get inspired to do that. And a lot of the times, these music videos are 3 to 5 minutes. So that's kind of what I like to do. So the third thing that you want to focus on is your focus session, and that could range from 15 to 30 minutes. So set a timer, no distractions, no phone, no social media, nothing. You are not allowed to go back and edit. You're not allowed to stop. Just write, write whatever comes to you, write what is supposed to be next in the scene that you're focused on. And then the last step, the fourth step, is your closeout. And this is about 2 minutes. Leave yourself a note where you stopped, what happens next, and how you felt. You can do just one session a day or stack them in different blocks, whatever works for you based on what you're doing for the day. And the thing that matters here is consistency, not intensity. And I think a lot of people do not appreciate consistent, like it sounds good in theory, but they're not actually practicing it. And this is why it's really, really important when you go back to that first step of redefining success, understanding where you are just with your week. I know, so this is going to be a little caveat. I know some people plan in 90-day, like your quarters. And that's great, but I have 5 kids and I have a husband and I have a life. Like I need to do it per week. I need to do a weekly plan session because my Monday could be very different if my stepson has a physical therapy appointment and my daughter has a dentist appointment. I could have a week where nothing happens and I can get much more done. There could be practices in the evenings, So it's just a matter of what is going on this particular week. And then I arrange my schedule based on the family obligations that have to come first. And so in terms of, okay, now you kind of have like this quick little block of doing it, you can now be consistent based on your weekly schedule. Maybe this week you can only do this block 3 times a week, right? But maybe next week you could do it 3 times a day. It's just a matter of doing it over and over again and building up that habit. Okay, so your 30-day writing routine needs wiggle room. And this is really important. So life happens. Like I said, kids get sick, your brain goes foggy. Here's how you want to stay on track without burning out. So again, I like to schedule my writing 6 days a week, but that is again years of what works for me and what doesn't, right? If you're new or if you're starting over, schedule 5 days a week, not 7, and then see if that works. Pick one sort of light day, like journaling, outline, or rereading, where you're not necessarily writing, but you're still getting your mind into that writing mood, whatever, ambiance. And then use a catch up day every Sunday to relieve your pressure, right? Don't punish yourself if you mess up, just pivot instead. So, routine is maybe the wrong word. It's a little bit rigid, like, but you can make your routine like rhythm, like a groove, a system that you can definitely keep falling back into. So I don't know if this works for you, but I like to sort of like use a visual tracker. Like it's people call it like gamifying it. So you could use a 30-day tracker, like a printable, a digital, like a digital planner, like sticker charts, doesn't matter. When you show up, mark it off. Visually seeing your progress builds momentum. For me, it's like I have a happy planner and I will link my affiliate code in the comments below, just in case you're interested. But I use this. And it's just a bullet journal, essentially. It's like a bullet of all of the things that I need to get done in my business. And I love, love, love to check it off. Sometimes if I forget to write it down, I will write it down just so I can check it off. So the things that you can actually track are words written, days written, tracking your time, like especially if you're doing those time blocks. And then what scenes have you actually completed? And a quick bonus tip is maybe add a reward after your 30 days. Is it a fancy coffee, a new notebook, a guilt-free Netflix binge? Right now, I'm watching The Apothecary Diaries and I I cannot. I am wrecked and inspired all at the same time. Anyways, your brain loves goals with the dopamine at the finish line. And again, that's going to trigger your brain to build up these habits in the first place. So if you want to stick with your routine, anchor it into something you already do. So this is called habit stacking. And I think Atomic Habits talks about this. It works like magic. So for example, after I make coffee, I write for 15 minutes. I don't actually drink coffee, but you get what I'm saying. After I drop the kids off, I open my manuscript. After dinner, I do one writing sprint. You're stacking, right? You already do something, and now you're tacking on that writing habit. So it's almost like you've merged two things into one. So stacking writing onto existing rhythms makes it feel natural instead of forced. And if you fall off a day or two, just restart it the next time the habit rolls around. It's totally fine. And then finally, accountability really does help, but only if it's supportive. And I will caveat that support in a second, but here we go. So ways to stay accountable, share your 30-day goals with your writer friends. Post updates on your Instagram or Facebook stories. This is also really good content. Join a writing sprint group or a Discord, and use a writing journal or log to track your sessions privately. The goal isn't to write perfectly, it's to create a safe space where writing becomes part of your life, not something you dread or avoid. At the same time, having said that, and this is just me, you can go and find different YouTube videos that are going to give yourself grace for every little thing, and that's fine, and I get that. And if you want to be coddled, go find them. At the end of the day, you are making choices and you are showing yourself what you are prioritizing. Now, if it's an emergency, if you have work, if you have to take care of kids, if you have to do X, Y, and Z, I get it. You can also figure out a way to do stuff with all of that stuff. Maybe not the family emergency, but you get what I'm saying. When my stepson had his meniscus surgery, I was writing at the hospital because I had a couple of hours where I wasn't needed. When my kids are at hockey practice, I am writing on my phone or I'm creating an outline because, once again, I have that time to do that. I know I don't mean for this to come out a certain way. And there are people who need their complete focus to be on one thing at a time, and that's perfectly fine. But my question to you is, let's hypothetically say you are taking your kid in, to the doctor's office for just a regular appointment. What are you doing at that doctor's office while you wait? What specifically are you doing? Are you on your phone scrolling social media? Because if you are, you could, and that's not taking away from your kid. If you're already on social media, then you could just replace that with writing, right? If you're waiting for your kid to come out of school and you want to get there early because those pickup lines are no joke, and you let yourself be on social, you could be writing, right? When I'm cooking, there are times I have to wait for the water to boil. So I'll try to write a couple of paragraphs. And I know not everyone is like me, and I'm not trying to, push you to be. What I'm trying to push you to be is, or to realize, is that you have more time than you think. And you know what? I also understand that you have to mentally get into that habit. Maybe you have to get into that. Like, you have to mentally get into the creativity. You have to step into it, essentially. And I get that. But you can also train yourself to do that. So, okay, bring it to over, but that's just my take on it. Anyway, to recap, your 30-day writing routine doesn't have to be complicated. It just has to be intentional, adaptable, and rooted into what actually works for you. So set up a clear and doable goal. Use that 4-part writing flow that we talked about. Build in flexibility and grace, but not too much grace. Track your wins, stack it with your real life, and use light accountability to keep momentum. If this helped you at all, I hope I didn't scare anybody away. If this helped you at all, hit like and subscribe. I post weekly videos on writing strategy, productivity, and how to actually finish your book without hating your life. So tell me in the comments, if you guys have a routine, what is it? Like, do you have a writing goal for 30 days? Let's support each other. Let's get it done together. All right. Take care, everybody. Bye.